What's going on, everyone? It's Alex here with Natural Health and Fitness Tips, and today I've got a secret for you. Your weight gain is mostly due to your hormones. Now, your diet and your exercise could be on point. You could be going to the gym every day, you'd be cutting down your calories, eating good food, but if your hormones are out of whack, you're just out of luck. You're not going to lose weight. Now, you know about all the primary hormones, and I'm talking about insulin, I'm talking about ghrelin, leptin, maybe even cortisol too. But these three hormones that I'm going to be talking about, they're little known hormones. They're working behind the scenes in your body, and they're making you gain weight. Now, I'm going to talk about how these hormones work and what you can do to restore the balance of these hormones in your body to make sure you lose weight and keep it off for good, okay? So let's get right into it. So the first hormone we're going to talk about is called neuropeptide Y, or NPY for short. Now, NPY is produced in the brain. It's a hormone produced in the brain, and it promotes appetite. It also increases cravings for carbs in particular, and it's increased during times of stress. So you can imagine when you come home from work, you're stressed out, maybe you had a deadline today, or your boss yelled at you, you sit down on the couch and all you want to do is eat a bag of potato chips. That's NPY. NPY is high in the brain during stress, it makes you want carbs. So how do we fix NPY? How do we regulate NPY in the brain? It's actually pretty simple. All you got to do is eat a little bit more protein, get a little bit more protein in your diet. What we found is that low protein actually increases the amount of NPY that we secrete in the brain. So you get more protein, that lowers your NPY, and you don't crave carbs as much. Something else that can lower NPY is prebiotic fiber. Now, when I take prebiotic fiber, I always take psyllium husk. Metamucil is a godsend. It is a great source of prebiotic fiber, and that's psyllium husk in Metamucil. All right, so the second hormone we're going to talk about is called glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1 for short. Now, GLP-1 is produced in the gut, and it's produced after nutrient intake. So after you eat, GLP-1 is produced in the gut. And GLP-1 regulates your blood sugar, and it regulates your appetite. So the higher your GLP-1, the lower your appetite after you eat. It basically signals to your brain saying, hey, we've eaten, I'm full, let's stop eating. So if your GLP-1 is low, that's when you start to binge eat and you get into a little bit of a vicious cycle with cravings, okay? So in that way, it's a lot like insulin. Helps regulate your blood sugar and it lowers your appetite. Now, how do we fix GLP-1? How do we regulate GLP-1, get it to the levels that we want to help us lose weight? It's actually pretty simple. It's a lot like NPY. We want to increase our protein consumption. Now, with NPY is just a blanket statement, more protein. But with GLP-1 specifically, what you want to do is get protein from fish, you want to get protein from whey, and you want to get protein from yogurt. Now, whey protein is milk protein, basically. You can either get it in powdered supplement form. Most protein powder is whey protein powder. Or you can get it from dairy products like milk, cheese, things like that, okay? You can also increase your GLP-1 secretion by eating a lot of probiotic fiber. And the best way to get that is just to have some leafy green vegetables, something like kale or spinach, or maybe some romaine lettuce. Those will all increase the GLP-1 in your bloodstream after you eat and reduce those cravings, help you lose weight. Now, the third hormone we're going to talk about is called peptide YY, or PYY for short. Now, peptide YY is produced it's also produced in the gut, but it's in the intestines and in the colon specifically. Now, PYY regulates your satiety and it regulates your appetite. So higher levels of PYY have actually been linked to greater weight loss and to faster weight loss. So if you want to increase the rate at which you're shedding fat, you want to keep that fat off, make sure your peptide YY is as high as possible. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, as it turns out, elevated blood sugar levels actually inhibit the secretion of peptide YY. So the more blood sugar you have, the lower your peptide YY is, all right? So to fix that, we want to reduce the amount of carbs that we're eating. You want to have a lower carb diet, or at least have a lower glycemic index carb in your diet. Something like brown rice, wild rice, sweet potato. Those are all really good sources of low glycemic index carbs that you can include in your diet to make sure that you get your PYY as high as possible. Also, increasing your protein consumption and your fiber consumption will help make sure that your PYY is regulated and at its highest possible level to make sure that your cravings are under control, okay, and you'll keep losing weight. All right, guys, so those are 3 hormones. They're working behind the scenes and they're making you gain weight. We talked about neuropeptide Y, we talked about glucagon-like peptide 1, and we talked about peptide YY. All right, now these hormones control satiety, they help regulate your appetite, and they regulate your blood sugar levels as well. Okay, you got to keep that in mind. And for all these hormones, you want to make sure that you're eating enough protein. Specifically, you want more protein probably than you're eating right now. You want lower carbs, or at least low glycemic index carbs in your diet, something like brown rice or wild rice or a sweet potato are all good sources of low glycemic index carbs. And also you want to make sure that you're eating more fiber and more greens. We're talking about kale, spinach, romaine lettuce, and things like that, okay? So thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay on the lookout for more videos in the future.